So you want to scale your business. You want to take your product or service from the hands of maybe dozens of people to hundreds, thousands, even millions of people around the world. How do you do that? I'm Kalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves, JA, brought to you in partnership with EXIM Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. My guest today is my personal business coach. She's helping me to scale my business, Opal Levy. She's a director at Sisters Inc. JA. Opal, you're back on the program in person this time.
Yes, nice to personally see you this time,
We've
right?
been doing so much Zoom, right?
Right, yeah.
And I spoke to you just earlier today,
right.
And I know that you, trust me, this lady knows what she's talking about when it comes to building and developing a business. Mm-hmm. First of all, can all businesses scale?
No, unfortunately. First of all, though, I want to state a differentiation between scaling and growth, because a lot of persons mix those up, right? So basically, when you're growing, basically you're adding more products, you're adding more persons, you're adding more expenses to your overall operations. Scaling is a little different. Scaling is getting the existing product line that you have now to a lot more customers. See the difference? So there's a difference. So with scaling, you're really spending less, but you're getting more revenue from it. Eh? But with growth, it is adding additional expenses and revenue. So that has to be clear for persons to understand now when I say scaling. Now, there are different stages a business will go through, right? So we have the very startup stage. Now, if you're in a startup stage, but you're working on your processes, so your processes are good, you have good people in place, then you're able to then look at how do I get, for scaling, my products getting to more persons, because all you have to do then is now impact technology. So maybe you're going to impact some distribution channel or something along that line to get more of your products to a lot more persons. So not every organization or every startup, let's say, can scale, because not many of them have the processes to get them to that level.
All right, well, let's come to those processes. What makes a business scalable?
All right, so in order for the business to be scalable, you have to have four main things in place. You have to have people, you have to have your strategy, you have to have execution, and you have to have cash. All right? Now let's start with people. For people, you have to have the right people in the right place doing the right thing. You have to have people who have the vision, who understand what it is that you're trying to do, and be able to help you to move your products or your services to that large amount of persons. Because remember now, you're not just offering to 100 customers, now you're moving to hundreds and thousands of customers. So therefore, your people have to be right? In order for you to be scalable, you also have to have a good strategy. Now, that is what is missing from a lot of organizations. Persons don't plan at all. So you're having a conversation.
You're just keeping your head above water, keeping up with demand.
And everything is in the head.
Right.
There's nothing documented.
We spoke about that today.
Today, right? So you have to have your strategy in place. And your strategy is all-encompassing. You have to look at your routines. You have to look at what are the things that I must do, right? What are some of the objectives that I need to accomplish? What are the activities that I need to get done, right, in order for me to get to that level of scaling? Then, having a strategy without proper execution is aimless, right? So you have to have proper execution, and proper execution talks really about how do you get everything done and get everything done properly by the right people. Right? So we're talking about now making sure that your touch points, so you have daily meetings or weekly meetings or monthly meetings, but you have to be touching base with the people who matter. People, your staff, and your customers. And lastly, you have to have cash. So you cannot run out of cash. And we're not talking about profit, we're talking about cash. So you have to make sure that you have your eye on the cash, watching how your cash flow is operating, money coming in.
Every day
to be able to
online banking every day
to check
who
that
paid,
your funds,
who not paid.
right? Because you need the cash to push the money, to push the company forward.
Okay.
Right.
So it sounds, when you break it down like that, it sounds like, okay, it could be achievable, but how difficult is it really?
with everything in business, it's not easy. Nothing in business is easy. But what it requires, though, is discipline. Right? You have to be disciplined. And what I've always shared with you is that you have to have a plan. So if you have a plan, and I always say this, and persons find it to be a little weird, but if you have structure, it gives you flexibility. But if you have no plan, no structure in place, you just don't know what you're doing. So in order for you to be able to do that, you have to have a solid plan in place, right? And every day you're monitoring your plans, you're looking at your milestones. When you look at large organizations, they don't joke when they come on to the plans that they have, sticking to the plans and executing. So as small businesses and measuring, yes, and testing
and
to
holding
make
people
sure
accountable.
Have to.
So if you didn't meet the targets, you're accountable.
You have to be accountable, but also why didn't we meet the target? So you also have to question what is happening in the market. You have to understand the market dynamics because the market keeps changing. So
I have a lot of work to do. Opal gave me my homework already, so I know I have a lot of work to do. So of the four, you mentioned people, strategy, execution, cash. Are they equally weighted, or is one more important than the rest?
Well, it all depends on your company. And so for a lot of organizations, a lot of startups, a lot of businesses, the problem is that we have a lot of answers, but we don't have the right questions. So basically, you have to look at your structure to say, okay, out of people, your strategy, your execution, and your cash, which one is most important to me right now? Right, to get me to this level. And so in asking the right questions, because there could be a disconnect with your customers that fall under people. So if there's a disconnect there, but you're working on your execution, hey, you're not getting the product to the customer, you're not getting the correct product to the right customer. So you have to ask yourself, you have to go back to the beginning and ask yourself the right questions. And in asking yourself the right questions by market facing, talking to your customers, talking to your staff, then you'll be able to ask the right questions and then answer the right questions.
So when you say people, do you absolutely have to hire to scale? Because maybe you could just run some Facebook ads and more people will know about your product and buy it.
Right, and that's true. But it's important for you to also get some expertise on board. So whether you're going to get a board of advisors to help you, or now we have this new concept called fractional leadership, where you can get experts to maybe work with you for a day, so you're not paying those large salaries. But in order for you to get to that level, Kalila, you have to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And it's not going to be the perfect thing, because we will make mistakes, but you have to start off doing the right thing and doing small things so that you're learning as you go along. Right? So you might not be able to employ a lot of persons, but you have to be able to get advice coming in, get a good team with you, right? Whether they're going to be fractional or they're going to be part-time or they're going to be full-time, but you have to have a team that will help you, because at the end of the day, Kalila, you will get burnt out and you're going to miss some things because you have your skill set that you come to the table with. There are many other things that act as your platform, but you don't know everything there. So you have to have the technical expertise in these areas to make sure that they're supporting you so you can make the right decision.
So where do we get this cash to do all of this?
Well, there are so many places. So I know the Development Bank of Jamaica offers grants. The EXIM offer loans, and many financial institutions. We have angel investors in Jamaica who will also offer you cash to help you to grow. However, you have to make sure that you have your plan in place and be able to articulate your plan to sell that vision to whoever it is that is going to be funding you, whether it is debt or equity.
I asked you at the beginning, can all businesses scale? And you said no. Why not?
Because a lot of businesses don't have the structure that I've just articulated.
Structure. So once you have the structure, you can become scalable.
You can become scalable, yeah. And then you also have to look at...
So you can scale anything?
Well, it depends on... There are a number of factors, because you can also look at the product too. Because there are many times when you might have an individual who might be selling a product and they only have a few customers, because only a few customers see that product as a solution to the pain. But then when they start to or try to scale, they realize that we can't get more than these 100 customers. So So you realize that something is wrong, and so therefore you can't scale. You have to go back to the table and revisit your product, redesign your product to make sure that you have enough customers willing to pay for the product that you have.
How do you know when is the right time to scale?
When you actually have your structures in place, when you're actually making sales beyond 100 products. Well, I always use a tag of selling more than 2 million Jamaican dollars. It's a little small because I always prefer to quote in US, but let's say you must have sales at least of $2 million a day if you're doing products.
A day?
A day. That means, or that indicates, that you have a sizable amount of clients who see your product and see it as something that is viable, something that I want, that I'm interested in, and it can solve my problem. So when you're at that stage, you really start to run, you start to make money. So then you're now able to get into the space and get more persons on board.
A lot of people watching would say 2 million a day sound like a company that has already scaled.
No. But it depends on the product, because if it's a very small, like a product that's very cheap or let's say inexpensive, then maybe 2 million might be a lot. But if you look at an average product of, say, like the product might cost $5,000 for one product, for the product. That's not a lot of $2,000. That's not a lot. So how do I get my product out there and get people to want to buy?
Well, I need to start thinking bigger.
Yeah, but that's the truth, though, you know. And you see, the irony of small businesses is that you have to think big, but you do small things to get you to that level. Yeah, small things every day to get you to that level.
Well, this has been very useful, Opal. I look forward to working with you some more, and I'm sure we're gonna have her on again because pick her brain all the time, you know. I'm gonna have you back on if you are available, of course.
I'll always make myself available for you. Yeah.
And tell me how people can reach you and Sisters Inc.
My telephone number is 876-431-8823. Our social media handle is SisIncJA, and my email address is sistersinc1971@gmail.com.
Well, we look forward to hearing from you, and if you need any help with scaling your business, you know who to call. Thanks again, Opal.
And you're welcome.
Scaling your business is about getting your existing products or services to a massive number of new customers. What makes a business scalable are its people, strategy, execution, and cash. If your business is selling at least 2 million Jamaican dollars, or about 13,000 US dollars worth of products a day, it's time to scale. And if you're looking for the cash to scale, check out EXIM Bank's multiple offerings that can help to take your business to the next level. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with EXIM Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website, eximbankja.com, for more information on their loan products and multiple services that you can access, such as their Business Advisory Service. Very, very useful product there. And also visit my website, KalilaReynolds.com, for a summary of this episode. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Until next time.